When it comes to the world of multiplayer games, there's always going to be that fine line developers need to walk when it comes to keeping things balanced so no single character or item has any major advantage over the other. In fact, anything that has some form of competitive scene, video game or not, needs to keep this balance. One of my favorite games that handles this well is Yu-Gi-Oh!, where the Forbidden and Limited list has changed a lot since the creation of the game. Of course, I'm not here to talk about Yu-Gi-Oh!, I'm here to talk about Shinobi Striker. But there are some important things I've seen in one of the most popular TCGs that already apply or can be applied to this game as well. But before that, I want to take the time and thank you guys for the huge amount of support and interaction on the last discussion video. If you would have told me that a video less than 5 minutes long would have better results than any build video I have done, minus the shorts of course, I would have told you that you are insane. But the Storm community video had a decent showing, so I want to take the chance and go for another video just like it. The results have blown me away. 1,000 views in less than 24 hours is absolutely insane. No other video from Shinobi Striker on my channel has ever done numbers like that. Even the Storm video took 2 days before it reached 500 plus, so you can imagine how shocked I was to see this. Thank you all for giving time out of your day to watch the video, leave a like, be a part of the discussion in the comments, and even subscribe to the channel. You guys are absolutely amazing. With that being said, let's get into the video. As games like Yu-Gi-Oh! Or Shinobi Striker continue to be played, there has to be new things added into the game in order to keep it going. Whether it's a new archetype of cards, or a new character DLC, you have to find a way to make these things sell. Usually, I see this happen in one of two ways. Option A is to create something that takes multiple mechanics that are already in the game and put it into a single package. Think about Barry and Bullet Barrage and how it's able to lock your opponent's sub as well as take away from the ult gauge at the same time. Option B is to create something that brings a new mechanic into the game. Barry in Naruto also has a great example with the Baryon mode Ultimate, where you lose health over time but have damage immunity and a new jutsu kit as well as a huge damaging second activation. Whether it's a package deal for effects or a new mechanic added to the game, the result is the same. Each new DLC seems to fight in order to be better than the last in order to get people to buy it, making past DLCs less valuable and can change the meta for the game. This phenomenon actually has a term: power creep. Power creep can easily be described as the act of new content making older content obsolete, and Shinobi Striker does this to an extent. Sure, the Minato DLC content isn't being ran by everyone in Shinobi Striker right now, but if you take the time to look at all the jutsus in the game, you notice that as you go lower in the list for jutsus and ultimates, you notice a trend of jutsus getting stronger over time, having more effects and longer descriptions in some cases. Sure, you could have Gate of Limits or these 7 Heavenly Breaths, but why go for those when you can still get all your health back, increase your speed, power, and recover your ninjutsus, plus get an insta-kill ultimate with Kurama Link mode. Baryon mode takes the idea even further by keeping the damage and speed, plus allows you to reduce your opponent's ultimate gauge and negate their damage, while slowly losing health over time of course. Also has a new set of jutsu you can use, and has a secondary activation that can spread out and have a larger AoE kill zone than a straight beam you get with Kurama Link mode. Power creep could also do something that Orochimaru has been seen doing since the early days of Naruto: bring the dead back to life. Or at least in this case, make a jutsu way stronger and even used differently than it was originally intended to be when released. I'm sure I'm going to get a lot of flack for this, but it's time we spoke about the biggest case of this in Shinobi Striker, which happens to be one of Attack Class's favorite jutsus. Sharingan has been in Shinobi Striker ever since the game came out. This is an Attack Class jutsu that offered a very unique exchange. By getting rid of one of your jutsus for offense, you have a pre-activated sub that copies the substitution you equip to your build. Having a second sub that you can preemptively activate before engaging fights caused a lot of opponents to be left wide open, allowing the player to appear behind the opponent and go in for a counterattack. Along with this, the cooldown was shorter than the actual substitution, meaning you could activate the jutsu 2 times before your sub came back online, effectively tripling the amount of substitutions you have for the price of a single jutsu. This was fairly balanced considering the subs back then were usually 25 seconds long on cooldown. Over time, we have received some that are 20 seconds, while some went as high as 40 seconds. Regardless, Sharingan would easily give any sub at least 2 more uses before the original recharged. As time went on though, Sharingan would become a true menace based on 2 substitutions that were added into the game. One would cause you to have more cooldown on Sharingan to gain more substitutions while remaining invulnerable in the form of timed space hop. The other would be a major 180 in the form of a high damage and wide AoE explosion that followed the opponent, which is the Shadow Clone Explosion, more commonly known as the Itachi clones. I'm sure I don't have to go too deep into detail for you guys to know that this is not how Sharingan was originally thought to be used when the game was released. This is due to all the DLC slowly moving up thanks to power creep. Along with ultimates and base jutsu, the subs also have gotten better as time goes on, creating a semi-untouchable player who continues to lower their cooldown without punishment, or a huge noob check where defense turns into a large form of offense that can be followed up with a single chakra claw combo to death. In any multiplayer game like this, power creep is something that is basically guaranteed to become an issue. Thankfully, balance patches can fix some of these problems. Sharingan did get hit with an extended cooldown time late in 2022, but the jutsu still has a cooldown shorter than any substitution in the game, allowing it to still be used the same way as usual, giving 2 extra charges before the base sub comes back. Along with this, more new jutsus come in, while older ones get nerfed or buffed to change their relevance, but some of the tried and true builds never seem to change. Thankfully, when it comes to competitive scenes in games like this, organizers place a ban list so we don't end up facing the same thing all the time and be punished for running a build that isn't tier 1 or tier 0. But in terms of playing outside of these tournaments, all jutsus are fair game, and I'm sure you will come across many players who will use the same builds. Perhaps Shinobi Striker could do something unique and create a jutsu ban list that rotates with each NWL, Red and White, or face-up events, causing the one-trick ponies to go try something else for a change and experience all that the game has to offer. The ban list wouldn't apply for modes like Quick Match though, so players still have a way to sweat to their heart's content. For now, this is the situation we face in the game. Don't think that having all the jutsu in the game will save you. Just because you run the same builds as the top players doesn't mean you have the skill to survive without using them. Likewise, you may not stay on top with skill on the sticks alone and may eventually have to pull out your wallet to get some DLC and try some new tricks. Welcome to the world of online gaming. And before you go to the comments and tell me to just get good, just know I'm calling you out on it right now. Go touch some grass and get some bitch. If you made it to this point, I want to thank you for watching the video. If you haven't done so already, make sure to like the video, hit that subscribe button, and turn on the bell so you are notified anytime I stream or upload. With that being said, I will see you in the next video, the next stream, whatever it may be. Peace out!